Hello and welcome to The Inverted Castle, a podcast about Metroidvania games. I'm a successor to a 40-year-old legacy, Thomas Blight, and with me is my co-host, Eric Fox. The same game, but way more into puzzles.
Sorry, I got the big brain between us two.
Yeah, you're La Mulana.
Clearly I am La Mulana.
And we're talking about Pampas and Selene, and for that gag to make any sense, we have to give you some backstory about Maze of Gallius, a game which we've previously covered, so, go listen to that episode. Pompous and Selene, and also La Mulana, which is made by a completely different person, are both love letters to Maze of Gallius on the MSX. I guess it was very inspiring at the time, I don't know.
La Mulana at least was a Japanese fan game developer. Like, in my memory, the MSX is more popular there, but I guess it also had some purchase in Europe. Like, as far as I'm aware, nothing in North America, though.
Yeah, the creator of this, Unepic Fran, is out of Barcelona, apparently.
Indeed. But still, between this and the original Metal Gear games on the MSX, that seems to be their kind of bread and butter. But in this game, it is directly referencing the Maze of Gallius. Like, Popolone and Aphrodite are mentioned by name, and the titular Pampas and Selene are their kids.
Yes.
This is ascended fan fiction.
Makes it slightly weird because they definitely try to have the title crawl make sense in the real world and also in the game world, but requires the children of the main pair to be like 40 years distant from when their parents' escapades went on.
Yeah, and if you recall from our Maze of Gallius episode, the whole plot of Maze of Gallius was to steal back your unborn child, so Pampas, as the oldest, has to be at least 40, but he looks 16.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just anime age.
Yeah, you're either a twink or you're the oldest man in history. There's no in-betweens.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's the basic plot. It's, hey, there's once again a castle that evil monsters are coming out of.
Castle Mogdos in this game.
Pompous and Selene have to go fight their way through it and figure out how to stop this.
Yep, like, Gallius is not mentioned by name, but he is referenced as an evil priest, and in this one, a lich has gotten a hold of that power, but otherwise, it is really just evil shit's happening from this castle, and our heroes have to go through, aided by the Greek gods, as this is, of course, as in the first game, the gods are here. Athena, Demeter doesn't show up in this one, but, all the greats, Hades, Hecate, Apollo, Ares. I've been playing the Hades 2 early access as well, so I'm well familiar with all of these. A bit different in that game, they're going for a bit more thirst traps.
Fair. Yeah. I would not describe any character in this game as a thirst trap.
No, instead they just give you fetch quests and pat you on the butt and send you on your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as story goes, that's it. Stop the dude.
Yep. It's delightfully retro in its sensibility, right? I mean, the beginning of the game is also just straight up, I think, the same for a little while.
I think so.
I didn't go back and look at Maze of Gallius to see how quickly they diverge, but I was like, these feel familiar.
And that's exactly by design. And also in terms of its overall structure, same things here as in Maze of Gallius. You got your meta dungeon, which is the castle, where you, like, just random pots and rocks will give you some degree of general upgrades. But then the meat is in the levels or dungeons, which are like take place on separate maps, kind of like a Zelda thing, but you don't really get upgrades or anything. They're just like instances of find the thing to unlock the boss and then fight the boss. Yeah,
the original, like, Maze of Gallius had you search a whole bunch of tombstones or steals or whatever, I don't know, for the demon's name. This just has you break them to find runes, and then collecting them all lets you fight the demon.
Yeah, but there's a little bit in terms of progression. It's I think more than was in the original, but it's still pretty limited. This one at least has more of a distinction between your two characters, Pampas and Selene, for better and worse.
Yeah, which we can get into that. So this is a game where you can switch characters at any time. They have independent health bars. They actually have a leveling mechanic where you can level their health bars independently as well. I mostly kept them within one step of each other.
Yeah, alternating every time you beat a dungeon boss, you'll get an upgrade to their potential max health. So, like as in Maze of Gallius, filling up your XP bar heals you, but also increments your max HP a little bit towards a cap, and that cap gets upgraded every dungeon boss.
Yep. And then, so the differences between the characters initially is Pompous takes a little less damage. He only has a very close-ranged attack, but I actually found him easier to use initially.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has a faster attack, and he has pretty aggressive hit stop on his attack.
Which is key, yeah. Enemies that get hit by his attack, like, they'll pause in, like, whatever attack arc they have, and he attacks fast enough that you can kind of stun lock them for the most part.
Yeah. So, like, I kept having the problem with Selene where I would attack things and then they just continue to run into me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, ow. And that's a thing that doesn't happen with Pompous.
Yeah, Selene is the mage. Her attack is a bit longer range, but can't spam it as much. She also survives underwater a bit more. Until her range is upgraded, it's harder to use her as your main damage dealer, but her sub-weapon tends to be the main source of DPS, which is a fireball that is dangerous to you as well if it's too close.
Yes.
But does lingering hitbox damage as it burns.
Or at least once it's leveled, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess other things Pompous can block.
He has a shield.
But only ranged attacks.
Yeah, it's not as useful as you'd like, but it comes in handy.
Yeah, and then they each get their independent upgrades, which is, pretty typical for games with multiple characters. By the end of the game, they felt pretty distinct, which was nice.
Indeed, which is kind of weird for the co-op, which I'll get into later, which we did not ourselves partake between us personally, but I did look into a little bit.
It's true. I did get a friend to do the co-op with me.
Oh, very good. So yeah, I'll guess I'll leave it to you then.
So I had some tiny experience with it. The co-op, at least on the Switch, is literally just split screens, and you can, like, wander around completely independently. I guess the analog would be, like, the Kirby in the Amazing Mirror.
Yeah, pretty good metaphor.
You can hold a button down to teleport to the other person. That replaces the swapping.
Yes, which is key for certain things you have to get past.
Yeah, and then otherwise, if you go down, the other person can stand on your corpse and revive you for half of their health. It splits it between you.
Yeah, it's a bit like when Kirby kisses his friend.
I suppose, yes.
There's a bit of Kirby in all of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the way that they really differ, Pampas and Selene, is Pampas gets the double jump, whereas Selene gets the lateral warp. So Pampas can reach heights, Selene can go through, like, damage obstacles.
Yeah. That said, you can also switch between the mid-jump and do both.
Yes. But if you're in co-op, certain dungeons require one over the other, so it's instead of, like, double teaming it, it really behooves you to just kind of leave it for the character that's best for it. Like,
yeah.
One of them is, there's this enemy that every time it touches the floor, it electrifies it. So Pampas needs to, like, stall in the air with his double jump in order to, like, approach that enemy, whereas there's nothing Selene can do.
Oh, Selene can handle those.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I guess it's if you have the blink does damage.
Okay. Which I think is an optional thing, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. You have just enough hang time that if you jump and once you start going down, do the dash, you can do it without getting hit, and then you can dash through it to deal damage.
Okay. I didn't bother because obviously I was playing solo and Pampas just does it easy.
I think I had grabbed the last heart prior to that with Selene, so I was trying to level her.
Ah, gotcha.
And so I was like forcing it a little bit.
Yeah. I ended the game without having them at max HP as it is.
No, okay. I maxed them out just like over the course of the game, just attacking guys as I went around.
Naturally grinding. Yeah. Did you 100% it?
I did not go and get all the treasures. The ones that are just treasure boxes that contain the consumables.
Yeah, fair.
But I did all of the things, the like notable unlocks.
Although a lot of them are not that sexy.
Yeah.
So just like, okay, you move a little faster, or you can change how quickly you ascend in like the little elevator rooms.
Yeah.
Or you now carry more stuff. The generic items tend not to be your, exploration bonuses so much as handy things to have.
I mean, being able to hold more stuff was actually very useful, because then you can spam on the bosses.
Yeah, going from only able to hold like 100 to 1,000, it made you consider ammo in a very different light.
Though, that said, there's also an upgrade that just makes it so that against bosses, your ammo doesn't matter.
Oh, fair enough.
That one's a little more well hidden, though.
Yeah, I was missing one item, and I think it was that one. I just didn't bother going back for.
Top left?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. It is a bit of a guide, dang it, to how to find it. And I did not find it and just looked it up.
I beat the game and then decided, I don't need to look it up.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know. I guess with the co-op, the one demon and dungeon we went through together was pretty easy to co-op.
Okay. This would have been the first one? Or did you do it mid-session?
Mid-session, you can just switch between solo and co-op. So this was Python's realm.
Oh, that boss with the, several layers where the snakehead can come out of.
Yeah, the Lolo and Lala area boss.
Hey, more Kirby.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this is a stealth Kirby sequel in addition to all the other shit.
Yeah. Which, I mean, at least both of you can damage that one.
Yes.
Right. I feel like it would have been a little rough to be co-oping on some of the other ones where it's like one of you might not actually have anything to do.
I'm thinking particularly of the Kraken, where you're in a water area and he has the tentacle you need to blink past. I'm not sure how Pampas easily gets through that.
I'm not sure there's a way.
So that one might be just, hey, leave it to your friend Selene, or just stay there and be a bit of a meat bag in case she goes down.
Yeah.
But you'll definitely go down first because of
the tentacle that just sweeps the
Yeah.
That one would be definitely pretty awkward. But even Dracos should be pretty hard to damage with Selene when you're playing co-op.
Dracos being the fire thing?
The dragon. Or it kind of looks like a pterodactyl more than a dragon.
Okay.
But he mostly flies high and spits fire, and then occasionally comes down to a level that Selene can interact with him without needing to double jump swap. But yeah, also Pyros would be a challenge, because you can't damage him, but you can at least help with his flames.
Yeah, I was thinking of Pyros. There's a bit of a, some of these bosses are, co-op, but other ones are, divide and conquer, which is, I think, by design.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's an interesting thing of, when you offer a co-op mode, how much does that change your design requirements, right? And I feel like this was just you know what, a co-op mode would be cute.
Yeah, for sure. If you're already building in two characters, it makes sense. Okay, well, can they be separately controlled? But there are definitely spots where for the single player you want to be swapping between them, and for the multiplayer it's kind of just, okay, well, I can't do anything here, or I found the god that only cares about Pampas, won't talk to me.
Well, you could teleport the other person to you, right?
Yeah, the teleport at any time to your partner, pretty sick.
And it does default to when the other person is talking to one of them. It's it pops up a pop-up, and it's you should probably pay attention to what the other person is doing right now.
Hey, in case you don't have voice chat or something, because this also has online co-op in addition to local.
Yeah, I guess.
No, it's cool. But yeah, speaking of those guys you gotta talk to, the gods, their quest design leaves a little to be desired.
Yeah, it's pretty basic, right? Collect some bear asses.
Yeah, go kill 10 of these things and collect the blood, but even if you've been killing them, you can't collect the blood beforehand, not until you get told to. This is also known, and definitely by design, because there's an achievement for, say, you have to collect some flowers later. If you run into those flowers before you get the quest to do it, it'll just say, hey, you found the flowers before you need them.
Yeah.
You don't get to collect them yet, but we are telling you you will need them later.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a little weird, but...
Yeah, they all boil down to go to a place and kill enough of the thing. I'm not sure, like, how in this type of game you'd get better, especially when it tries to stay as, like, simplified and streamlined as the original Maze of Gallius. But, I don't know. A little more efficiency would have been nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you'd have to go a little more puzzly, like La Mulana, right? Like, have things be hints to, like, okay, you need the demon's name or something, I don't know, and then find the demon's name somewhere else.
Or, like, find the room that has, like, a vague description of some sort of set piece in the background or something.
Yeah.
They do already do that in the dungeons, which is, I think, a reference to Maze of Gallius, where you're, like, you find the Shrine to Athena and she'll tell you the secret code to make a bridge appear or the stairs, which is like, oh yeah, you gotta swing left 3 times, swing right 3 times, jump. So I don't know, a bit more of that, but yeah, definitely La Mulana has a very diametrically opposed design philosophy of absurd breadth and esoteric puzzle design, whereas this one's more yeah, like you run through action combat. It's a bit more of a arcade style explore 'em up, which is what I think the original was. La Mulana kind of becomes its own beast at a certain point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas this one is Maze of Gallius 2, or I guess there already was a Nightmare 3, but...
Yeah, but that was a different genre, right?
Oh yeah, Nightmare 3, I think every Nightmare game in that trilogy was a kind of a different genre.
Yeah.
I think there might have been a Nightmare... Listen, I don't remember the Nightmare quadrilogy if it exists. I only cared about 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's... What else is there to say about this game?
It's fun. Like, it's not a particularly deep game in terms of its combat. I think it plays better than the original, which you'd want in a modern game.
Yeah.
Bosses were, for the most part, acceptably difficult for what they do, although the last boss, I definitely forgot certain things I could do, and some of his attacks were too hard to dodge.
You forgot about Polymorph?
I absolutely forgot about Polymorph.
I also forgot about Polymorph. Maybe I should have been trying to use it more, but it never really seemed necessary outside of that.
Yeah, it was always like, I can just kill it anyway instead of charging a move that makes the enemy disappear, essentially. And the other thing is that the enemy, like the shielded metal spike guy that you're supposed to polymorph, you can also just hit it once with Selene's lightning thing, and then the Zeus proc will also destroy it. It just takes way too long.
You can also just kill it. Like, your wand actually deals damage to it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need Zeus either. You can just spam. But then he starts making 3 of them.
Yeah, it's when he starts making 3 of them that I don't really have the time, and I don't want to bunch them together as much. As I was figuring out how to Zeus them, when I really should have just charged Polymorph 3 times, and it's easy peasy.
Yeah, that's sort of how I feel about the final boss, is actually, he was pretty fair, I just needed to learn him, right?
And I imagine in co-op, there are certain things like when he does his lightning wave, which you have to like blink past. In that case, you need to already charge a partner warp if you're Pampas.
I guess. I don't know. That seems challenging.
It does, but I was trying to like theory craft how I would do it, and that's the best way I could figure out how to get past it, because your shield doesn't do it. You can't jump over it. Kind of out of options at that point.
I don't know. Maybe it's just not a game you can completely co-op. At least with the fireballs, you can damage them with the warp. So I guess theoretically, I don't even know how it works with 2 players. If it would put the fireballs over both of your heads or what.
Yeah, I'd have to look into it more. I assume it's just whoever's like highest vertically. And yeah, that final boss is a hell of a damage sponge as well. So you're not going to DPS it down. You got to be able to dodge these things.
Yeah.
The thing is, this game is fairly simple. Like,
Yeah.
I think its main draw, ironically, because we didn't actually do much with it, but the main draw is the co-op.
Yeah.
And
I suppose.
beyond that, it is kind of just a sort of better playing Maze of Gallius. It almost supersedes it, although Maze of Gallius has some historical significance. It's a bit more interesting in that context, as well as being able to like do like keyboard things. I wish there were more keyboard things in this game. I know it's also released on home consoles and the Switch, so you can't, but
Yeah, that's fair.
I miss the MSX and the MSX emulator I used to play Maze of Gallius. Because I didn't have one. We already talked about this. It didn't show up in my hometown.
Well, we should have played it on the actual MSX because one of the versions of this is the MSX ROM. I assume it's the same, but who knows? I didn't try it out.
I would not be surprised because this game is slavishly accurate to what that old system felt like and sounded like. The music is pitch perfect to the Maze of Gallius style, and there's also the option to have it as the 8-bit version for all the tracks as well to really feel like you're playing an old MSX game, which, fair enough.
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't know, but like also it's damning with faint praise of all the games you could play. It's very much a, do you want to specifically play Maze of Gallius?
Yeah, like I had fun.
Oh yeah.
But I also kind of wonder if we would have less fun if we hadn't already played Maze of Gallius, right? And we're just like, okay, this is just a weird retro game. Instead of like, oh, I get these references.
Yeah, it's like some of the design we're more forgiving of because it's a reference instead of, why would they do it like this? Why are all these items just like in a random stone? Like not even like protected by like a boss or a puzzle. It's just kind of there. Why do I have to keep warping back to random, like either the start or a shrine or something?
Yeah.
And those are separate items. I don't know.
Yeah. Lots of warping items in this game, actually.
A little bit, like separate items for warping to the start, warping to the god shrines, warping to your last save. That one also can warp you to the last dungeon rune stone you unearthed.
Yeah.
You can get around in addition to if you're co-oping just wherever your partner is, but enthusiasts of the sub genre of Maze of Gallius's rejoice. Oh, and also there's like, when you beat the game and everyone's like, hooray, there's a bit of a sequel hook for both Pampas and Selene of they'll have continuing adventures, but that's a tale for another time.
Yeah. I don't really expect that to be a real sequel hook. Just like oh, this isn't the end of people's lives. They do other things, but...
Yeah. But also if there are like solo games of Pampas, The Legend of the Cursed Kingdom, who knows what Unepic Fran will do next. But... yeah. I know it's quite quick, but this game is very simple. So what we're going to do next is look at our stack rank, which is, of course, always linked down in the doobly-doo.
Yeah, and then we really have to answer that. Where am I putting this? Because it was good for a retro clone, but...
Philosophically, does this go above or below Maze of Gallius?
I mean, I feel like it has to go above Maze of Gallius.
It is literally a better playing game.
Yeah, in that, like, that this is the list of things that I rank by how fun they are.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, I feel like an argument could be made for the OG, and then this being a reflection of it, but I'm not that person. I just want to make sure we understood that was on the table.
Yeah.
But for me, looking above Maze of Gallius, we see Legacy of the Wizard, another classic of the retro genre. Above that, Shantae and Aquaria, both games that I don't particularly have much love for. And then Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, which we've discovered a lot of problems with on that episode. And then I see Metroid Fusion, which I think I got to give it up for Metroid Fusion. As kind of lukewarm as I was on it, it's a solid Metroidvania game, and this game that we just played is very much a maze instead of a Metroidvania. So I'm going to put it at my new number 34, making this our 49th game. But yeah, number 34, Pampas and Selene.
Yeah, I'm looking at a pretty similar place. I'm looking at, I guess for me, number 33 currently, Chasm. Did I have more fun with this than with Chasm? And then if I did, what else did I have more fun with then? I don't know. I think I'm going to put it above Chasm. Chasm was fine.
It also kind of suffered from a bit of genericness in its design, just from it being like randomly generated.
Yeah.
Even though it does have a more strict adherence to Metroidvania tropes, it's randomly generated Castlevania game, which I had more fun with probably. It's number 32 for me, but I can see, not really having an impact. And Absence of Light, I can see that being charming enough.
Yeah, I don't know. So my friend that I played co-op with, I think, was a lot less inoculated to retro game bullshit. I think is what I'm going to call it.
So you had a normie with you to kind of calibrate your taste here, your reactions?
I mean, not that normie, but I guess not like super a retro gamer. So there were just a couple things. I don't even remember what specific enemies we were dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
But just like things where you're just like, well, that's retro bullshit or whatever.
Was it the skeletons you have to hit several times before they go down? That's a Gallius staple.
Those skeletons were fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I found the skeletons fine because I know them. I don't know. Was it the weird bat patterns?
No, the bats never really bothered me. I found Selene can take them out really easily, or Pompous' arrows are almost quick enough that they're hit scam.
Yeah, unlike Maze of Gallius, bats in this game, easy peasy.
Yes.
But yeah, it's funny that you had a friend kind of temper your exultation of this. Just be like, hey, let's back up here, and this is an old game. It was made newly, but it is designed in an old style fashion.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just like, I think he came into it with expectations that were challenged in terms of like, it is very easy to, like, for enemies to knock you and for you to lose a bunch of progress.
Right.
In terms of like how many hits you can take, it's actually pretty low. Right. It is perfectly reasonable to die to regular enemies if you're not going in prepared and cautiously.
Yeah. You take a lot of damage. You're meant to kill things to get your experience to heal. That's more or less the only way to heal. It's a very specific design.
Yeah. There are also apples that you can get in the barrels. They're kind of rare. You can also go to stores and pay for them, which, like, I was never struggling for money.
No.
So near the end of the game, I was like, I've probably bought most of the things that can be bought. I can just start buying all the apples and then warping back and attempting a boss with full health.
Yeah. There's also an item that when you start a boss, it'll just full heal you.
Yes, but only one guy.
But only the one who starts it, which, as we've discussed, a lot of these bosses are meant to be killed by one of your party members. So
yeah,
kind of makes sense. But yeah.
That's it. It's a pretty simple game. It's still worth checking out, I think. It's fun. This is yet another game where the in-game timer bugged out on the Switch.
Oh, yeah?
I thought I had played it for 99 hours. But I think I had played it for 9 total, and that felt pretty slow.
Yeah, I had 7.5, but I also was missing that one item.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. But we should probably stop spinning our wheels here. And instead talk about another game about spinning wheels or many other tricks you can do.
Time Spinner again?
Not Time Spinner again, although somewhat similar. Time Spinner. There's a lot of games that follow in this genre. It's almost rote at this point, but we've avoided them because they're too prevalent these days. Yo-Yo-Vanias.
Yo-Yo-Vanias?
Games where you have a spinning top / in this case, specifically a yo-yo, a game that was released last month called Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo.
Oh.
This is an isometric, potentially Zelda-like exploration, yo-yo-based parkour puzzle, according to them, Yo-Yo-Vania.
Okay.
And so it looked neat, and I would like to play it, and it seems like it counts just enough for our purposes. And so
Fair.
I've cursed us with the Cursed Yo-Yo. Sound good?
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, if you know how to walk the dog or go all around the world, make sure to let us know by leaving a comment on our YouTube page, Facebook, at Inverted Castle P on X, and our email, invertedcastlepodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, those are yo-yo tricks, aren't they?
They are, of course, yo-yo tricks.
I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
I'm sorry. Glad to see you're with us. This game might be too much for you. You might need to do some outside field research.
Surely they wouldn't make a game in which you need to know yo-yo lore in order to play it.
I don't know. I haven't played it. I'm sure we'll find out. But in any case, until next time, I've been Eric Fox.
And I've been Thomas Blight.
And remember, kids, don't be mean to your siblings. They might be the only way past the Kraken boss.